Hi everybody, it's the halfway point of our class. Class is half over. So far things are going very well. I love your replies and your original posts and discussion boards. Things are going really great in discussion boards. I look forward to reading them. People are saying a lot of interesting things, sharing a lot. I encourage everybody to, give as much as you can to those discussion boards. It's really the life of the class and things are going really well. I opened up a special discussion board here on peer evaluations. Are they valuable? Now this isn't an assignment. It's not part of your grade, but I just wanted some feedback since we completed the first case with peer assessments, and we're doing the second case. Netflix has been submitted last night, and peer evaluations are underway. So I just want to get your input, and I do encourage people to please be brutally honest with your feedback. Please help each other to write better case studies and be generous and really considerate and constructive in your feedback. And I really like to see that when someone takes the time to really give someone some advice and help them make a better case study. So I did make a temporary column in the grade book called Case 1 Feedback just to see my feedback. That column's going to disappear soon because the one thing I don't like about this peer evaluation is that I'm not able to leave my feedback on top of the student feedback as well. Anyway, don't worry, this video is about the simulation round 3. I just wanted to get this out of the way first. So we have the Netflix case was submitted yesterday. We have the peer evaluations open from the 15th to the 18th. So please go in and complete your peer evaluations. You'll notice the last two cases, Microsoft and Whole Foods, I'm moving away from the peer assessment, and I'm going to be just providing feedback directly on these two cases without the peer feedback. I'm not exactly sure how well the peer evaluations and feedback, how you feel about it, how it's going. That's why that discussion board is important to leave me some feedback on that so I can know whether or not in future classes to continue with the peer evaluations or discontinue it altogether. So I'm interested in what you have to say. Now let's move on to the Zoom simulation. The 14th last night was another round. We have one on the 16th. So I want to go and review. And as always, I have my own team so I can review without having to expose, embarrass anybody on mistakes they may have made on their team. So we're in round 4, but these are the results from round 3, and I did 638 points, a significant improvement over my last round. And you can see here that I was able to increase sales by 50%. I did better on my quick and debt ratios. I want my debt ratio down. I want my quick ratio to go up, and that's because at the end of the last round I paid off some of my debt. I had my profit margins improved in all 3 categories, so I increased my profit margins. Now, I may have only made about 60 points on my profit margins or 54 points on my profit margins, but that cascades down into helping to increase all my other margins. Now, my asset margins and return on equity are a little bit lower because I really bulked up on assets last round, so I didn't expect those to improve much. But I did make improvements on my return on equity, my earnings per share, return on assets, my market capitalization, my book value per share, all did very well because of my profit increase. Now, my forecasts weren't as on target, so I must have had some leftover inventory. I had a big enough deficit. I have a big enough surplus, even though I expected over 10 million in surplus. I only have 6 million because I didn't quite sell everything I promised to, which is okay. Now I made operational investments of increased them by 60%, so I made 100 points there. I'm sorry, 60 points there, and 100 points for my surplus. That's how I got to my 638. So let's look at some charts. Let's look at my. Oh, I am number 1 in points for the round. Wow, that was a big turnaround from the previous round. And I'm also number 1 in my profit margins. So remember I told you profit margins have to increase them to get you to the top. That's what I did, and I did poorly in round 2, but I focused on my profit margins and I focused on my cost reductions, and I was able to get to a higher position on my profit margins. And my stock price is now also in the lead position. So let's look at the industry charts. Let's see here. Okay, so industry charts. You'll see that profits went up for everybody the third year because when the auto industry is expanding at 20, 30%, and we're getting more efficient at making our vehicles and our management is getting stronger, we're all going to make more profits. And with that, you can see that the points, you can see that. Remember last round, I was sort of close to the middle or bottom. I was the top. I think I was the last. I was in fourth to last in points last round, and I was able to rebound on that. And you can see that for everybody else that they're around the 400 mark, and 400 is sort of a good amount of points. I mean, you can't get 600, 1,000 points every round. It's just impossible. So some rounds are building rounds where you're building and you're investing, and then you could explode in points the following round once your investments come to pass. So points are leveling out a bit. I was able to increase my stock price. I think I bought some stock back, and my earnings put me in first in stock price, and sales per team, I was able to dramatically increase my sales per team because it did have, that was a problem I had in round two. My sales were weak, so I went back and I reanalyzed my forecasts and improved them quite a bit. My earnings per share went up significantly as my profits, because now I have high sales and high profits, and that's what companies you want. You want to have increase your sales and increase your profits. But if of the two, I rather increase profits than sales, because there's no point of selling products at a loss. Okay. Now you can see here from the chart, my wedge is the biggest, but it's not by far bigger than most other wedges. It's only by a fraction of a percent, but that's all you need to really get ahead in this industry when you're talking about selling, $20,000 or $40,000 vehicles. A small increase helps greatly. Let's see my team. So you can see that I have a nice increase in my sales. I have a nice increase in my net profits, pretty much doubling my net profits over last year, and my profits for sales. You can see there's a nice upward trend in my profits as well. My stock price, we went over this, earnings per share. Points, you can see I really dipped in round two. Now, that was a building year for me. I was putting a lot of money in investments, and I messed up on my forecast, but you can snap back from a year where you have low points, because your year over year is a percentage. So even if you have a bad year, doing very well the next year can really help snap back in your points. Okay, and you can see here that I met, except for the luxury, I met all my forecasts. Now, if you go into, we go into production here, you'll see that I have leftover cars, and this is what ate up these leftover cars ate up my surplus. So I was going to have a much bigger surplus, but since I created a big surplus because I knew I was going to be aggressive in my forecasting. Okay, so now it's the next round, and you'll notice again, as I say every round, that customer expectations have gotten greater. Every year people want more. The price of the vehicle I can sell it up has gone up, so I can sell the car for a little bit more, but not enough to really match all the expectations. And my cost reductions have increased because I have reinvested in cost reductions. Now, so again, I want to look at my overview and see I left off at 58% as a gross margin. So when I do my sales, this round I want to try and beat that. So I'm going to, as always, I'm going to put in my let's see. And I wasn't quite able to beat it here. Okay, so I got 62, up that a bit. Now, I've noticed some people try to put in the exact same numbers I put in. That would be a mistake, because I'm really not focusing here on the best strategy for numbers to enter. I'm just slapping in numbers here and hoping that they turn out well. You could probably do a much better job on your numbers by paying a little bit more close attention to the other competitors in the simulation. Okay. And one thing I'm not spending, again, in this round, I'm not spending a lot of time on my forecasts, because I'm just rounding them up to the nearest thousand. So I'm not really, so don't follow my forecasts on this round. Make sure that you develop your own forecasts based on the needs of your company and don't necessarily go by what I'm putting together. Maybe I'll jump the luxury. Okay, so now I see a problem here. This is beating my profit margin. It's getting harder to beat my profit margins last round. These two are doing it. Now 58 is my profit margin. So here I'm going to have to cut back on a few things. Let's see if I can get there. I got 60%. Still a weak showing. So my luxury on my, I guess on my, this is going to really hurt my sales, but I'm going to forecast a little lower to hopefully be able, I could barely make 60. So yeah, it's getting hard to beat my profit margins now that I'm about 60%. So I did increase it about 2 or 3 points. Remember, it's important to fill out these reflective observations. That is a requirement of this simulation, to write something in there, because it really does help with the understanding and the feedback of the sim. Now, my advertising portion here, I don't really, now this part, I don't really show you what I do here because I don't want people to copy me, because the advertising is sort of secretive. But I can tell you this, I'm not really spending more than the expectation range, and sometimes I'm spending less. What I do like to do in here is, it is kind of neat to say, and this is part of the role play, who are you going to sell your vehicles to? So I could put an age range in here, and so it could be a narrow age range or a large age range, and I can put the the income I'm looking for, 35,000, or maybe here it's 40 to 50,000. You could really write whatever you want in these cells. This is let's see. So this is really just an idea of what type of demographic, age, or income you're going to sell to. And then down here, when you write your slogans or your overall demographic and advertising strategy, this is important for the role play, just not to make the game just about putting numbers in cells, but really show me, what is your advertising strategy? What are you thinking? Who do you think would be a good class of people demographically to sell cars to, and how that relates to your advertising investments? And that's part of the simulation, is to role play and really pretend like you're running a company. So don't look at this as just a game where you're trying to put numbers in cells. Actually try to fantasize that you're running this company. It makes it a little bit more fun. So I'm going to move over to production in a second. Okay, I'm in production here, and there's only one error I have to put in: a new vehicle. And this round, I'm actually being quite conservative this round, so I'm not spending a lot in assets, and I'm not over forecasting, so I'm probably not going to be the top scorer again, because I'm purposely just, at this round, being very conservative and just probably more of a building round. So I have some inventory, and that's going to actually help to increase my profits, because I could resell. That's the only thing that's a little unrealistic. I mean, I guess car companies, no new car gets unsold, so I can resell my cars, but luckily I could sell them as if they were new, I guess. But anyway, I put my forecast in and my production, only buying one new plant, and I'm going to, now this is not, I'm just applying some operational investments here. I don't suggest you do exactly what I'm doing. I'm just basically slapping numbers in here. You should really think about what you're spending and how you're going to invest in this area. Okay, so let's see how I did on the finance page. And my capacity utilization is really good. I'm at 100% in all areas. This will help with my return on assets and my total asset turnover and my efficiency. And then, the strategy for my operational investments is I'm trying to invest more money there so I can have more cost savings the next round, so I can have higher profit margins. So let's see here. I have a $100 million surplus. So I'm going to go back to production, and I'm going to spend some of that and increase my operational investments. So that's where I'm going to invest. My operational investments, so I'll put the money there. And let's see, so now I have an $80 million surplus, so I have some money to pay back. I'm going to pay back some of my debt. and there's a limit of how much I could pay back. And I can only do 40% here. So that's 16. Yeah, there's some limits on what you could pay back, which makes sense because no one can buy all their shares back in one round. No one, in terms of loans, there are limits on what you can repay, and so it's not completely unrealistic. Okay, so I'm going to leave with a rather large surplus. That's fine, and I'm going to complete. So my strategy for additional funds this round is to pay back debt to help increase my debt and debt to equity ratios, and I'm going to retire some stock to help raise my earnings per share. And my pro forma financial statements do match my plans. I'm trying to be more conservative with my assets and my forecasts. And I did find it rather hard to squeeze out big gains in my profit margins this round. So last round I had a huge, I think, 6 or 7% increase in my profit margins. This round is only like 2 or 3%. So I'm not expecting to do as well. So it'll probably be a low points a month for me. But anyway, I'm going to submit, so I'm done with round 4. So that's basically how I'm doing in round 4. And this is the last round that I'm going to be competing with you guys, because I'm going to deactivate myself for rounds 5 and 6. And I'm going to take myself out of the running, and you guys will be there by yourselves. So I think I've taken you far enough and give you enough additional advice to really help you understand good strategy, good ideas for moving the sim forward. And if you're having trouble, remember, you have to be able to increase your profit margins. So that means raise prices and lower costs. So lowering costs, you do that in the sales page. You can lower the amount of features and you can increase the price. That's going to increase profit margins. Investing in your company to get operational cost reductions also helps. So we're only halfway, and we still have 3 rounds to go. So that, okay, so I was saying we're halfway through the class, we're halfway through the simulation. And remember, the simulation, the A of the simulation, and not every team is going to get an A. This is one of the assignments where we do have a bell curve where most people are in the B range, and then only a few people are at the A range. Remember, you need 3,000 points to get the full A in this assignment. So halfway mark, every team here, 1,600 points and up, you're halfway there where you're supposed to be at the halfway mark. So we're in round 3, and you're halfway to the 3,000 points. Some people are 2/3 the way. So people are really on track. A lot of people are on track to get an A in this assignment, but not everybody will get an A. There will be some people who will find it hard the last few rounds to really move up. But it's all about your strategy. And I do leave hints and clues in the lectures. So if you're not listening to my lectures, you're not getting some very important hints and clues in how to improve your performance in the simulation. And I'm also trying to help you out every round with this review and showing you how I put my sim together, which is just sort of a quick overview. I'm not really spending as much time as you can on the rounds. It was more as just a demonstration of some basic principles. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you found this helpful. Good luck with the rest of the class, and I'll talk to you soon.